Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 75 of Scion of the Dark House, a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition Gothic horror podcast. Because it's Gothic horror, there may be some things that come up to a line for some people, such as blood, violence, gore, body horror, child endangerment, talk about abuse and trauma, and other things. If anything comes up to a line for you, please take a break. Your support means a lot to us, but so does your mental health. So when we last left off the party, they had spoken with Brennan Munster, the hex blood that they had dealt with earlier, or at least his parents. They found that he had made his way to the Darkmoor Cathedral and had devoted himself to Saint Freya, who gave him some interesting insight into his family that caused him to question a lot of things and have a bit of a breakdown. After confronting Ed, who of course acted like an asshole, they talked to Brennan. Didn't really get very far as he was still in an incredibly emotional state. Later, Percy went back to his house along with the group and confronted Belladonna about the possibility of her having a warlock, which she was greatly confused by. Until later, when they went to Black Swallow Fashions, the group of boutiques that her and her friends are opening up in the old fairy godmother's space, where they put together that Hammond Lightfoot, a particularly familiar halfling to Percy, had in fact become Belladonna's warlock, as he eldritch blasted Alex in the hand after attempting to mage hand a gold coin. So we come back to the party as they have left Black Swallow Fashions and are on the main street. It is about mid-afternoon. There's still a few hours of daylight left. What would you all like to do?
I think at this point we can just head back to the house. Not my family's house, like the house, the house.
Oh, right, that whole, stopping the world's imminent destruction thing. Why
Yeah,
not?
that. Any
So we
thoughts,
find a
Lark?
I mean, I suppose we should see where that's at. I feel like we haven't done anything involving that in a little minute.
Yeah, who knows what sort of entities have found their way onto the grounds at this point. Seems to be new ones every time we check in.
Anybody else find it a bit odd that no matter how distracted we seem to be, the world just isn't crumbling around us?
Well, let's hope it stays that way.
If I were a gambling man.
Which you are, so...
Oh, right. Well, never mind then.
All right, make our final preparations and we can head out.
All
Yeah.
So what are those preparations again?
I don't know, just like picking up some food or something, I guess.
Priorities. Booze.
So you want beer?
Obviously.
Yes, of course.
Whiskey. It's a long trip.
I'll probably poke myself with a needle just so I can use my blood vial to recover some sorcery points.
I think
I
once
forgot
your
about
blood
that.
vial is full of blood, it just stays that way.
I know. It's just
you don't need to poke yourself again.
I think
it's Lark. He's probably gonna do it anyway.
to recover sorcery points with the blood vial, you also need to spend a hit die to recover hit points. So I need to take some damage. So yeah, I'll just poke myself with a needle. Damage to recover. I'll use one hit die and get 5 sorcery points back.
Okay.
Because I somehow burned 2 last session that I don't remember.
Oh yeah, did I use up any shit that I need to know about? HP,
I don't think
spell
so.
slots,
You're
anything
good.
like that? Okay.
You're fine.
That's all right. You just shoot stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your bow doesn't even run out of ammo.
No, it does not. No, it does not.
Yeah. All right. So you all get your stuff together and you head off. Just you could probably get a nice big old, you can either get like a very, very nice bottle of whiskey or just like a giant jug of whiskey for a gold. Cheap, shitty
the
stuff.
Second one. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. Especially since you didn't pick up the alchemy jug way back in morning.
Right. I thought about it, but
yeah.
Nah.
So you head back onto the road, back towards the house. It does take a few hours since it seems you guys are on foot. It does take a few hours, and when you begin to make your way up the drive, the sun has begun to set. Darkness is beginning to fall as you come closer and closer to the carriage house. At this point, Lark, you actually hear, coming from the trees, a psst, Lark.
Is it in Sylvan or Common?
It is in Sylvan.
It's a name.
Can I? I guess I'll look over. I'll float over towards the trees for a minute.
You do see peeking out from beside the tree, it is Rumor, in the similar form that they often appear as when he's on the material plane. A shadowy form with glowing white or red eyes, dripping a bit of shadow as he peeks out from behind the tree.
Rumor, what are you doing? And I'm just gonna fly over.
Of course.
No chill. I'm just gonna fly over. And just be like,
not.
What are you doing here? This is what? You're in the material plane.
Yes, I had to make my way here.
Lark, what are you doing? What is that? What is that thing? Is it? Get away from it!
I'll switch to calm and be like, hey, I don't call your sister a thing, even though she's crawling with eldritch abominations.
I'm fairly certain you have called his sister a thing.
Maybe. Back in Sylvan, I'm going to be like, Rumor, come. And I'm just going to like reach into the bushes and try grabbing a hand.
Well, he just kind of floats out. He's still completely a shadow.
Oh, that's nice.
He doesn't have the sort of familiar form that you are aware of, but you still recognize him. He does this a lot, particularly when he doesn't tend to want to be seen too much.
So he doesn't share face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
God damn it.
I couldn't resist. Okay.
So yeah, he kind of flies out of the bushes, and the rest of you do see this shadow in the vague sort of size and shape of Lark with glowing white eyes that Lark seems to recognize. And he does continue in Sylvan. So I don't know if you were aware, but the waltz, it's tonight.
Oh.
I decided to check on you because I knew that time runs a little differently in the Feywild than it does here. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew.
Oh bother! How are we going to? Back in Common, I'll be like, okay.
Thank you.
This is Rumor.
Hello.
Such a pleasure. Hi.
We've heard so many good things.
I can see the resemblance.
Oh, they're just a little shy. And apparently the Waltz of Shadows starts tonight, so we need to get to the Feywild.
Wonderful. After we've been traveling all afternoon,
we're all like sweaty. It's tonight.
It's fantastic.
Tonight.
This
yes.
Is a waltz
At the
of
stroke of
unholy
midnight.
figures.
Yes, between the 1st and 12th stroke of midnight.
Well, at least I've had a bath.
What does that mean?
The whole waltz takes place during between the 1st and 12th stroke of midnight.
Okay, I'm just gonna roll with whatever that means. So
listen, time's not linear, okay? It's fine.
Cool. How do we get there? And we're like sweaty. Is that okay if we just like show up like in our sweaty, gross clothes?
I'm sure there's ways to freshen up.
Yeah, okay.
And some of the guests aren't able to freshen up.
Oh, lovely. So, how do we get there?
How did you get here, Rumor?
Well, I definitely hopped through a few people's dreams. The usual route.
Oh, is that all?
I don't even know if I can do that, let alone them.
Yeah, I don't think
yeah.
Last I heard, the Sisters of Night, Rosina Leckermall and the like are going to actually come here and pick you up, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, wonderful.
Our dates are picking us up, boys.
I feel so honored.
Yes.
Do go freshen up. I'll just start casting prestidigitation to get them less gross.
This is going to take forever.
Well, we have 3 people that can prestidigitate.
I'm just wearing my like regular clerical battle garments. Is this appropriate attire for the Waltz of Shadows?
I mean, how many archdevils are going to be there this year, Rumor?
Most of them.
Oh, they're going to eat you right up, Percy.
Well, I do have this lovely cape made out of the skin of a beast, so that should do nicely.
Well, I'm sure you'll be fine.
Okay,
I have to get back so that I can actually be there when you all arrive. So I'm going to be taking my leave, but remember, it's at midnight. So you still have time, I think. And he kind of looks up at the sky. It's hard to tell. But yeah, I'll meet you there, and Prank will be there too.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And then he just kind of vanishes into shadow.
He was always so good at that when we were fresh blooms.
Okay.
Cute.
So yeah, your family's adorable. I'm exhausted, and now we have this shit.
So, do you want to give us like a rundown, Lark, on like what we should be expecting?
Have I ever gone before myself, or no?
No, but you do know what the Waltz of Shadows, is. Because the Queen of Air and Darkness, Queen Mab, is the Queen of Nightmares. She uses the sort of evil forces that come to the waltz as kind of a little bit of a charge to charge up her magic, where she takes that and rides out on her chariot across the material plane and essentially refills everyone's nightmares in order to continue to keep her power up. Like I think I mentioned before, she has long since surpassed the need to do this, but she does this out of formality because of other political benefits that she has, and she invites all of the darkest fairies and archdevils and demons and undead creatures and things like that to the ball. She can converse with them, hear plans, strategize, make alliances. Other people can make alliances. So it's long since grown far more than its original function. But that is the point. She gets all of the most terrifying, worst, most evil, or just most strange beings in the same room, uses that to charge up essentially a giant nightmare battery, and then just spread it as far as she can.
Yeah. So it's like the Catalina wine mixer of darkness. Or like a timeshare where it's like if you or no, what would it be?
I don't think our characters have a
convention.
reference for any of these things.
Our
No.
characters don't. This is out of character. It's like come to my party and I'll make mortals afraid of you in their dreams. For a low buy-in price of oh god, it is a
I don't
timeshare
know, a
convention.
soul or something. Yeah.
But yeah, so Lark will be like, it's the event of the season. It's a who's who of every force of darkness and chaos your little mortal minds can scrounge up, and some you probably can't. And
Oh.
yes, it's how the queen initially came into power as an archfey, but she doesn't really need to do it anymore. Now it's just tradition. So
Okay.
Sounds delightful.
old and new up-and-comers and the forces of darkness will be there to socialize and antagonize and fraternize. And we are going to be escorted by one of the oldest covens of hags in the Feywild.
And that is good.
Well, yes, I'd wager so. They are quite literally the root of half of the mortal fairy tales you all seem to love so much.
Oh. Hmm. Well, if that's the case, then we can just hope that they don't kill us.
I don't know if they'd be apt to kill us, given that we saved their power source and their domain, and they're repaying us in that fact. And hags, like many fae, but especially hags themselves, hate to be indebted to anyone.
Right. But in payment, they only promised to escort us to the ball. That was it.
I think they, like, this is not as Lark in character, but I thought they said they'd escort us safely to the ball.
Safely to the ball, yes. To the ball, no farther.
To the ball.
Once you're there, you're on your own.
Yeah. Listen, I'm getting wise to some of this fairy nonsense, okay?
Cool.
So, yeah, is there anybody we need to know about? Like, what?
Well, we know... Oh god, rumor just told me earlier today when I saw them in a dream that... What was it? The fungus and slime demon lords will be there. They're new, as far as I've heard. This is my first year personally attending. At best, I've flitted around the castle, but always had to go back to the garden before the event actually started.
I sure hope Zubtamoy, I think that was her name. I hope she's not mad at us for, Rerek torching her entire population here.
I made it pretty clear that I was not okay with any of that, so...
Same here.
Right,
I mean, we didn't kill the other bunch of them, did we?
Still, again, not we. Just Rerek.
Yeah.
So, he's on his own for that. So we just, go and mingle?
We're going to mingle and try to gather information and, I don't know, possibly try to alert the forces of darkness that something... Lark just gestures. Like...
Gestures broadly?
Gestures...
The whole deal.
Pick your poison, fellas! Your entire world is crumbling to ash, and... wait, what? Let me think. The servants of the good gods are doing what now? Oh. They're having a meeting.
Well,
they're putting it through their channels.
I'm sure I'll hear about it soon.
Continue to tempt the Weavers of Fate, Lark. I swear.
I mean, the Sealy Fae are just... They're not even getting off their asses for this, so... I'm just saying... The Demon Lords, the Archdevils, the Vampire Kings... Any... Ooh... I wonder if a Lich could show up. I wonder if... I don't... I don't think the liches we're dealing with have ever gone as far as I've ever heard. But I feel like
terribly sad that the suggestion that you just made was that we appeal to the forces of darkness to prevent the destruction of the world because they need to save their food source.
Yes.
We're all clear that that's what we're doing here.
Does a gardener let their garden go to ruin over the sake of a storm or an infestation? No.
I think that might be a fish a bit larger than we can fry there, Arthur. And even if it was, maybe we have to just appreciate the help that we have while we can get it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I don't really see any other options. I guess Lark does have a point. It's not like the Sealy Court is intervening. Not that they're the good guys.
I'm just, the beings that will be at the Waltz of Shadows would have as much a vested interest in making sure the material plane doesn't fall as any of your gods and goddesses and saints would here. Because whether you like it or not, half the interdimensional beings from other planes out there feed off of mortals in one way or another.
Wait. If I'm remembering right, wasn't Zubtamoy and the other guys' home realms devoured by Farazdoom?
Yes.
Okay, well, maybe if we can skirt around the whole fiery genocide, they could be allies?
I mean, I feel like you may be overestimating just how attached she was to one colony, darling.
Well, maybe we just don't bring it up.
He does have a point, though. I mean, I don't know how interplanar entities feel about their offspring. So.
And I'm just saying, like, yes, we're the beings that go to the Waltz of Shadows inspire fear, dread, terror, etc., in mortals and lead them to paths of chaos and what you would consider sin. But is it really any different from the way that your saints feed off of your prayers? We all just feed off of you in one way or another.
Well,
yeah, one's a lot meatier.
The saints are pure and holy figures, so...
And also not cannibalistic.
Yes, also that.
How do you know that, though? Have you ever met one?
Okay, so are they picking us
and
up
didn't
here,
your saints rise when your old gods of this plane fell? That Lark just looks towards silent Rerek and he goes, Rerek's people still worship the old gods, don't they? What's the difference between them and your saints?
Was it at the carriage house we were
yeah. I need to get ready.
Yeah, so the carriage house is probably maybe like a 3-minute walk away. So I can imagine Percy silently marching towards the carriage house to find something to get ready.
As I like step in through the door, right before I slam it, I'm like, "I'll pray for you," and I'll slam the door as I walk in.
You're muted.
Well, so that went well.
I mean, he's so sensitive, honestly.
Why do you poke him?
Why don't you? I mean, you do sometimes.
Well, yeah, but not about his gods.
I'm just throwing it out there. They haven't exactly been the most helpful in the grand scheme of things lately.
Well, that may be true, but maybe don't bring it up. It could be a sore spot.
The most active one of his saints sent a cannibalistic yeti into the city, right? Or are we missing that point? Now, honestly, out of all the saints that he's talked about, this Freya sounds the most chill.
Yeah, you do have a point there.
I feel like she could vibe with some of the Fae more easily. Just saying.
Yes, vibe.
I think we should all get ready. Oh.
With what? in this 400-year-old carriage house?
I don't know, Arthur, but the stench of mortality seeping off of all of you is either going to drive them to disgust or into a frenzy of various sorts.
There's literally a slime lord showing up to this event.
That's no excuse for slovenliness. At this point, Lark has like fully prestidigitated himself,
Oh
like
my god.
spotless.
I'm sure.
Prestidigitated.
And I feel like he's going to be a little extra and redo mage armor on himself because it's through Armor of Shadows to make it like a magical girl transformation. So his see-through lace shirt is like a little extra now. Just
like
taste.
stars in the
good.
darkness.
Yeah.
I know. We need to show off. Come on.
So should I bring my sword or?
I'd go armed to your teeth if I were you, darling.
Oh well, good. Then I'm ready.
Well, a little more presentable, Arthur.
What do you want me to do? Wear eyeliner or what?
I'm just gonna start throwing prestidigitations at him to get some of the road stink off.
Which, of course, is successful.
And aggressive.
When was the last time you bathed?
Literally yesterday.
Ugh.
I don't know what to tell you, okay? I wear a lot of armor. Like, it gets sweaty under here.
See, this is where sometimes I wish I had Rumour's knack for getting wild animals to do my bidding. We could sing a few notes of a song and they'd be in here braiding your hair for you.
Yeah, I think
Let me
I'd
try.
prefer not.
La 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 la.
I swear to God, if a bird flies in here, I'm going to have Jasmine.
You see a single bird smack into the glass and slide down. You don't see it fly away.
It's just fucking broke its neck and died.
Percy calls down from the top floor. It's like, did the bird just die? What was that sound?
Nothing.
Oh, it's fine.
So the night wears on for some time, a little bit longer than you were expecting, almost, until there seems to be some sort of a shift in the energy that comes. A shift in the darkness. It's almost like the darkness changes color. And you then hear a trumpet from outside the front door. It's not very strong, and it seems like the trumpet blower is a bit nervous, but you definitely hear it. And the front door to the carriage house bangs open, and standing probably about 10 feet away from the door is a very familiar rabbit-like figure holding the horn, holding a trumpet and shaking. He has chains on manacles around his wrists and manacles around his feet. You would recognize this rabbit character from the castle of the Queen of Air and Darkness, one of the two servants who met you at the entrance. And he feebly calls out, hear ye, you are invited. And he shuffles around and pulls out 4 black envelopes with red seals on them. You are formally invited.
Yeah, to the thing. Okay, thank you.
Are you okay?
He just kind of stares and holds up the invitations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
And at this point, you hear cackling from somewhere up high. The cackles seem to move and swirl through the air before appearing in a semicircle behind this rabbit figure. is the familiar Rosina Leckermall with her wide-brimmed black pointed hat and tattered black robes. And she seems at her side to have a mortar and pestle that she could physically sit inside of. There is then a hunched over woman with a hood over her head. She seems to have around her shoulders branches twisting, and she's holding a broom. And then there is a tall woman. Surprisingly, she's still old and decrepit like the other hags, but she stands up straight. She has a black dress that is covered in what looks like some sort of floral pattern of a dark and twisted sort of rose. And at her side is a spinning wheel. As the three of them appear, and Rosina Leckermall steps forward and goes, "Yes, it is time. We've come to fulfill our deal. Remember, it's to the ball and no farther."
Yeah, we're clear.
Good evening, ladies. How are you all doing tonight? You're looking quite fearsome.
Thank you. Indeed, we're going to have a bit of a journey, but don't worry, we'll get you there safely.
Did you hear there's going to be a pair of new demon lords there compared to years past?
How
Yes.
exciting.
Yes, I'm very interested in meeting them. However, we must make a bit of a stop. We must stop at Bald Mountain. There are some people there who are joining our flight.
Oh,
And we'll be safe with these people?
Yes, relatively.
Is Bald Mountain in that place where the Burr Hag is, where that did the whole thing with Brennan?
No, it's in the Feywild.
Oh, cool. We're
Do
good
I know
then.
what Bald Mountain is?
If you'd like to make either a nature or history or arcana check.
Well, I don't have proficiency in any of those, so it's just a flat intelligence roll for me. That's a 16.
It
Not bad.
is, Bald Mountain is the place where the Witch Queen became the Witch Queen, and where the first hags were formed under the light of the full moon. It also sits directly above a portal directly to the Nine Hells.
Oh.
Ooh.
So a lot of hags use Bald Mountain to get to the Nine Hells very easily. But that's about all you know about it. You know it's in the Feywild, and you know it's pretty important to the Witch Queen herself.
Oh, I've never been to Bald Mountain.
Yes, it's rather exciting. So...
what's Bald Mountain?
You'll find out.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to do that. That's why I asked.
The fun is in finding out in the process, darling.
Fine. Can we just go?
Ooh, yes. We don't want to be late.
No. No, we don't.
And at this point, the woman that is holding the broom steps forward, and she pulls out a silver whistle and blows it very loudly. Even after she takes it out of her mouth, the sound seems to travel, weaving its way through the trees and up into the night sky. Well, you might want to step away from the house a little bit. And then she hops on her broom and flies away.
Okay.
The other one gets in the mortar and pestle, and it rises into the air. And the third one gets on the spinning wheel. The wheel begins to turn and clack as it rises into the air, and she flies away as well.
Okay.
Fly, you fools! I'm just gonna start flying after them. I don't know.
What? Fly? Just fly? That's your advice?
At this point, just suddenly, there is a sound as a pair of talons wraps around you, Arthur,
Oh
and
God.
Jasmine. The rest of you see this gigantic skeletal bird with feathers still hanging off of rotten flesh, still sticking to its body, grabs you and flies off into the night sky after the hags.
Oh my God. Why?
And
Why
then
this?
more come dive bombing out of the sky. One grabs Percy, one grabs Alex, one grabs Rerek, and another one, a smaller one, grabs you, Lark, and you are all dangling from their claws as they fly into the night sky.
Oh.
It doesn't take long before it's very clear that you are not on the material plane anymore. The clouds seethe and roil and swirl. Multicolored lightning flashes. The clouds form into very obvious shapes, like wolves that begin to chase after something, talons that just claw through the air, skulls that open their mouths, and the eyes flash with lightning. Before a huge wall of clouds comes up in front of you, and you all fly through it to find yourselves suddenly over an enchanted looking forest. The birds begin to fly a little bit lower, and at this point you do see in front of you the three hags on their bizarre flying contraptions, cackling away as they dive and weave through the air. You see other things from the forest begin to rise. You see hordes of people on broomsticks, swarms of ravens or bats. You even see running along in the forest several houses that seem to be running on vines that stab into the ground and shove forward, or chicken legs, or are just on the backs of giant animals. Strange little cottages that are racing through the woods as you are all flying towards this singular mountain off in the distance, behind which sits what seems to be perpetually a full moon.
Oh, I hope that means we're almost there.
Oh, this is charming.
What?
Why are you enjoying this?
This is charming!
I can't hear you.
Just
Oh,
throwing up as it like trails behind him in the air.
And of course you would all
Straight
see
up
this because he's the
chemtrails,
furthest out front.
Yeah.
You join this horde of things flying through the air as it makes a loop around the mountain before flying in to what appears to be a very large sort of cliff, a flat area about maybe 2/3 of the way up the mountain, that things begin to land. And the birds drop you off and fly away. And you stand there as you watch other hags, as it seems, land, as well as what appears to be probably their servants or other witches from the material plane that might be either accompanying hags or powerful witches in their own right, begin to land, and you see their bizarre vehicles. Some of them are carried by birds or butterflies. Some of them are flying in cauldrons or large skulls or bathtubs or buckets. Others are literally taking their whole house with them. And they seem to be gathering here at the top of the mountain.
Yummy. Arthur's probably just like huddled at the ground, like cuddling Jasmine, holding on for dear life.
Well,
to make sure that I like herd them together. Like let's keep the humans, the mortals, relatively together.
yeah, the birds did kind of drop them off randomly, so you just get up and you're nowhere near everyone else. And it's kind of like the moment when you're younger and you lost your mom at the mall, and it's like because it's just so unfamiliar of a place.
I seem to have soiled myself a bit.
Prestidigitation.
Yeah, you just clean it right up very quickly.
Thank you for that.
I think Percy's probably just like having an asthma attack on the ground or something.
Oh,
it's so
all these
hard to
hags?
breathe.
Why did it have to be that?
You act like you've never flown through the talons of a giant skeletal bird before.
I haven't!
That is how I act, yes. Uh-huh.
Why? Why would I have ever done that?
To have fun?
Oh my god, I hate you so much right now.
Well, are we here at least? Is this it?
Is it over?
Appears to be Bald Mountain. I've never
It's
been,
not over.
to be fair.
Oh,
Business
God.
never took me
So
out
there's
this
more
way.
flying? There's more flying after this?
I think there's more flying.
Great.
Flying or
Good.
a portal or something fabulous.
I'm
And
just gonna sort of lay here for a bit.
What are we supposed to be doing here?
I think our escorts were picking somebody up.
Uh-huh.
Rosina. I'm gonna look around for. So wait, it's Rosina, and what are the other two's names?
Well, you would know. The one with the broom is Mother Gothel.
Hmm.
And the one with the rose dress and the spinning wheel is Karabos.
And I'm gonna look around to see where those three wound up.
Yeah, it seems that you can spot them very easily. They're pretty easy to pick out of a crowd. They're kind of mingling around, but it seems that nobody's outright attacking people. You also notice that there are mortal servants of other witches and hags and other fey beings that are here that are clearly allowed to exist here without getting attacked instantly.
Yeah. Anybody we recognize?
Most likely not, no.
There.
The only ones you recognize are the three hags that brought you. At this point, a swarm of bats flies overhead and swirls into a column that forms into a very tall, very pale woman in a white dress, except the bodice of her dress is stained and splattered red. And appearing next to her is a strange jester-like character that kind of almost holds on to her dress. Another column of bats forms this very tall looking figure wearing a cloak that almost looks like bat wings that have fused into his skin. And he seems to almost immediately get down and start crawling like an animal. Percy, as you lay on the ground, staring up at the night sky, suddenly your vision fills with this brown bat face. It's very large as it looks over. Oh, are you all right?
Yeah, I'll try to squirm out of the situation. Like, I'm just a little winded from the flood over.
Yeah, you look up as you kind of, squirm out from under this character. It is about a 10-foot tall humanoid bat figure that's just standing there kind of like this, looking down at you. You also notice he has some jewelry on him, like rings and some necklaces and a headband that actually has some green feathers on it. Well, I was just making sure. You just didn't look too well.
I'll be just fine. Thank you. It's very, very polite of you.
Oh, of course. Well, I'll have to. Oh, there they are. And he points over to the two other vampire-like figures. Oh, I have to go meet with them. Well, hopefully I will be seeing you at the ball.
Right.
Hopefully you feel better.
Your name, if I could ask.
Oh, I guess I didn't give that to you. And he just kind of reaches out and grabs your hand in his like giant bat hands and just shakes. It's like full body like shake. Oh, I'm Camazotz, the Lord of Bats. Nice to meet you.
Right. Percy, good to meet you as well.
Yes, lovely to meet you as well. I'll have to be off. Toodaloo. And he kind of just wanders off towards the other two of them.
I'll just like meander back towards the boys and be like, I don't know what I was expecting a Lord of Bats to be like, but it was not that.
You
But
just make friends
color me
everywhere,
pleasantly
don't
surprised.
you? Okay, so that was weird.
Yes, I think there's gonna be a lot of that tonight.
Yeah. Oh my God, is it midnight yet?
As you all are gathered and waiting, the three familiar hags appear, flanked by the three interesting vampire-like characters as they come over. And of course, Rosina Leckermall speaks up. Oh, well, we have our guests with us. We were here to pick them up. We might want to get out of the way. We'll have to get on our flight for a moment before, and then the earth shakes.
No.
Before the top of the mountain just explodes.
Oh.
Lava begins to run down the mountain, and a column of fire and smoke rises into the air, transforming into hundreds of flying devils, demons, creatures swirl into the air. Oh, well. Oh, well. Well, we do need to get on our flight.
Cool.
In the middle of that?
Yes. Oh, that's just Asmodeus. Don't worry.
Cool and
Great.
good. Wonderful.
Well, let's get going. And at this point,
does this mean the birds are coming back?
Percy's just like standing there bracing himself.
Oh, I don't want it. I don't want it. If I can't see it, it can't see me.
And at this point, the giant brown bat figure that Percy had known as Camazotz kind of comes over. Oh, I didn't know you were with them. Oh,
yes, we met, befriend. We're acquaintances with Rosina.
I
yeah.
see. Your friend looks ill. Are you okay? And this giant bat figure kind of just waddles over
It's
to
very
you and just like,
doting.
places a hand on your forehead. Oh no. Is everything okay?
That's very kind of you. I did not enjoy the flight.
Oh. And he kind of looks over and you do see the skeletal birds beginning to fly back over. Oh.
Oh, here they come.
Well, if you would be more comfortable, I can offer the services of some of my bats to carry you instead.
I think I would much prefer that. Yes, that's very kind.
Ooh.
You know, it can't be worse. Sure. Thank you so much, Camazotz.
Can I
Yes.
ride on the back of a bat?
Sure.
I'd like to
Don't
feel the
mind.
wind through my own wings, but I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with everyone.
Right.
Mm.
And he nods and he kind of waddles over to the edge of the cliff and lets out like an echolocate screech. And rising from the woods are a couple of bats, very large bats, and one slightly smaller bat that fly over, and one grabs you and Jasmine, one grabs Percy, and then one flies over and kind of flies underneath you, Lark, and kind of rises up underneath you. The skeletal birds grab Rerek and Alex as they've made no decision on which one they would prefer, and they fly off before you all fly with a giant horde that has blackened the night sky with all kinds of strange and eerie things. As you once again fly off into the night sky, once again filled with strange clouds that form eerie shapes, colorful rainbow lightning that seems to arc through them all before once again the clouds part and the crowd descends towards a very familiar castle rising from a single spire of rock in a canyon that you would all know would be the palace of the Queen of Air and Darkness, a place you have visited before. And once again, the crowd begins to swirl as various groups split off and fly through various windows and doors that have all been opened around the palace. And the birds and bats drop you off in a courtyard before they swoop away. And at this point, surprisingly, you see the rabbit hopping towards you, chains still on its wrists and feet. Hello. I've been sent to take you to the Queen.
An
Can we
escort
not have a
directly
minute?
to Her Majesty? Oh, why thank.
Oh,
Wait, is this in front of like the hags and the vampires too?
They have not seemed to follow you.
Damn it.
Hmm.
I wanted that social leverage for a minute. But whatever. Lark's just gonna look at the boys
always
and be
the
like,
politician.
well, we definitely shouldn't keep her waiting in her own castle. And remember, fellas, the rules of decorum, the rules of hospitality, and if we can all be hospitable with everyone here, we should be relatively safe for the night, okay? Be good guests. Don't
The
forget
what?
to-
He says, drinking some of the whiskey he brought with him.
I feel like I should have drilled the rules of Fey hospitality into you all more before this, but
Are they different
well.
than mortal hospitality?
Is Fey hospitality different than mortal hospitality, Spencer?
Is there gonna be foot stuff?
No, there's not going to be foot stuff.
Well, thank God. I don't think I could handle that.
The Lord of Feet Picks will be there.
Oh, God.
There's a slime lord. I don't know what he's into.
I would say that the only differences are more in the minutia. Like, of course, there's the don't take what's not yours, but how one determines whether or not something is yours or not is vastly different in the Fey world than it is in the mortal realm. But the broad strokes are relatively the same.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll just be like, I'd assume they're relatively close. I'd just watch your actions and watch your words. Words can have particular power, even if you don't mean them.
I'll just be quiet then.
Yes, let's go see the Queen.
Of course, the rabbit at this point kind of turns shaking and kind of begins to hop, still holding his trumpet. Off.
I'm just gonna
Was he
like
this
fly.
scared last time we were here?
I'm gonna fly over to the rabbit and be like, "Are you from that little village, Clover? I think it was, or something."
Yes.
I thought as much.
Has anything happened there recently?
I don't know. I'm not allowed to know.
Ah,
I
Probably
look
for the
over to
best.
Arthur. I feel like he wasn't this traumatized the last time we saw him.
It's really kind of heartbreaking.
Now,
But, I mean, he's a slave, so just trying to think about it, I guess.
I thought he was like a butler last time.
He's got manacles.
Did he always have the manacles?
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Yes, he definitely did. Mm-mm. Mm.
And he leads you to the very familiar overgrown throne room where once again the dark shadow that is the Queen and Aaron Darkness sits amongst a variety of mirrors. And you do see this time Rumor flying in the air. He is not shrouded in shadow. You do actually see him, and yes, there is a family resemblance. They may not look exactly the same. They're not twins by any means, but they certainly are very obviously siblings. And you see another character flying. She has pigtails and seems to be very excitable, kind of zipping around as you all come through. And the Queen of Air and Darkness stands and turns, her very familiar face, her dark eyes, her high cheekbones, almost an unnatural exaggeration of an elf. Well, welcome. I'm glad you were able to make it. How was the ride over? I heard you had some particular escorts.
It was expedient.
I'm gonna do the usual thing where, like, this is one of the only times Lark actually lands on the ground. Like, he's always floating or flying somewhere, but he actually lands in the presence of her. Out of formality's sake, to, like, dip into an actual bow. And he's just gonna be like, oh, the journey was perfectly interesting, my queen. We met a bat lord.
Yes, Camazots. At this point, I invite him more out of formality. He's not the most wicked of the three, but he'll do. If you are looking for gentler experience, and she does kind of turn to both you, Arthur, and Percy, you may want to visit his particular realm in the Shadowfell known as Shibalba. It's very different than the rest of it. I'm sure you'll find it perfectly acceptable.
Thank you
for the advice.
Well, of course, I didn't just bring you here to have fun. There are some matters of business of which we must attend to. The first, of course, is I've had my own business, so I haven't checked in with you, Lark. How are things going at the house?
Well, he's gonna, like, get up from the ground now and start, like, lightly hovering a little bit. He's gonna be like, I mean, oh goodness, my lady, we've made progress and hopefully preventing the entire destruction of the mortal plane. It's going about as well as it can go. I've tried rallying their forces, but they seem to be caught up in diplomacy more so than caring about their imminent doom. But then again, what more can you expect of mortals? They're not the brightest.
Indeed. Well, if any of you have anything else to add to this, I would be happy to know.
I'm also just trying to remember the last time I reported in what's happened since then.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure that out too.
Did we mention the gigantic city-sized creature underground? Or no?
That's troubling. It's never good when things are that deep beneath the earth.
No.
Oh, and those two, Lark's gonna motion to Percy and Alex. They did free an eldritch abomination turned would-be sea goddess from her imprisonment.
Well, that's unfortunate.
The bitch queen.
Say what?
The sea bitch, the bitch queen. What was her name, Percy?
I don't remember.
You know, the one that the two of you decided
Yeah, I
to
remember
spontaneously free.
It wasn't. Did we decide to do that?
Well, Alex decided. This is above character, out of game. Alex just randomly freed her.
I don't remember exactly how that interaction played out.
You guys went into a dream sequence because you were both part of the bloodline, and you just broke the fucking crystal or something. So now she's out there getting power back.
Cool, yeah.
What the shit?
That might have been a session you missed in character.
Apparently.
The person.
I was like, what? Sea
was it-
witch? Who?
Oh, not a sea witch, darling. A sea witch we can handle. This is one of those creepy crawlies in Percy's head is now I guess she wasn't in your head technically. She was just caught in the same sort of crystal. The
Mhm.
sea creatures love her, though, my lady, and she's free.
Hmm.
Not of my
That's-
accord, of their accord.
Well, that makes things more difficult. No matter, we will persevere. We must, or else the Feywild is doomed, as are the rest of the realms.
Quite.
Well, the second bit of business is that during this little waltz of ours, there is a show of strength that happens, a bout of sorts. And I can think of no better person who would be my champion at this point in time than you, Lark.
My lady. You. I
You have
simply
currently been the most loyal and are by far the most powerful of my current, I should say, servants. And so I would have no choice, whether I wanted to or not, to name you as my champion for this little bout. Of course, you may bring your entourage with you, depending on which of the various creatures and lords here may challenge you. That will be part of the waltz. Of course, before that would be general mingling. And then later there will be the shadow waltz.
Hmm.
Then the bout, of course, and finally the waltz of the damned before I ride out on my chariot into the night sky to spread nightmares to the rest of the mortal plane, as I'm sure you are well aware at this point. But that seems to be how the night
Mhm.
shall be going. However, I wanted to make sure you knew what you all were doing and why you all were here before I simply set you loose on the dance floor.
Well, yeah, we got your back, Lark. What are we fighting? What are we doing?
I've never come to this before myself. Who might I be fighting, my lady?
Whoever wishes to challenge you, the lords will challenge you, or at least one will, and they will send their
Oh,
champion in whatever entourage their champion has, and you two will fight.
Might I mean, might I also have the aid of my siblings, perhaps? I can't help but notice that you gathered them here.
Well, they have other things that they will be doing.
Ah.
They have come with other lords.
hmm.
So, regrettably, no, I cannot allow it. But I'm sure they will be cheering you on from the sidelines.
Hmm.
Well,
Okay.
I guess that concludes our business.
M- m- Milady, I'm so sorry, Lark. I was wondering, the last time I was here,
hmm
um, I was brought here by someone who might be my brother. He told me I wasn't even going to ask. I don't know why I'm thinking about it. He told me that I might be the son of some kind of creature that originated here. Something about a woman who wears stars. Does that sound familiar?
It does. Those that dwell far above us are beyond my knowledge, but perhaps there is someone out at the ball that would know.
There. Thank you.
I am simply the darkness. I am not the stars, so You're a bit separate. And she might run in a different court entirely. I do not know all the names of all of the beings in the summer court, which may be where she runs. But that does not mean that she has not spoken to people at the ball.
Your wisdom is appreciated.
Of course it is. Well, if our business is concluded, then I will set you loose on the ball, and I will see you before the bout begins.
Gives bow.
Of course, my lady. I'll do whatever I can to maintain your... I don't know. Your status, your position. I'll do my best, my lady, and we both know how good my best can be.
She just nods. Well,
Toot.
Off you go.
I'm just gonna look at Prank and Rumor and be like, are they gonna follow us out?
They kind of look at each other and they do begin to follow you out. Checking the name of someone. Did I not write down his? Nope. So the rabbit begins to hop away. I will take you to the ballroom, and he starts hopping away, the chains jingling as he goes.
Like, once we're out of, like, I assume we're following the rabbit, right?
Yes.
If Prank and Rumor are there, I'm gonna just take a moment and we're gonna do like a creepy, we're all gonna hold one of each other's hands in a circle.
Oh yeah.
Like, and maybe fly around in a circle for a minute to reunite.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not normal for probably in terms of mortals, but it's fine. This is the first time the three of them have been together in a century or two. Or no, they're not that old. Probably a few decades at least.
Yeah.
Oh, Prank. I mean, I've seen Rumor twice already in the last day, but are you eating? You're looking famished, darling.
I'm certainly eating. I, as you know, have been with Hersum, the Lord of Parties, who has definitely gone on quite a few excursions with Oberon. So yes, I have certainly been eating.
Fantastic. Oh, where are my manners? These are my pet mortals. This is all in Sylvan, so they can't hear me. The surly one with the cat is Arthur. His mother apparently could be some celestial fae thing. That could be fun, probably worthwhile. They might want to trade him away for someone.
When he does this.
The human one with the bags under his eyes that looks a little bit tired all the time. That's Percy. His head is full of the voices of thousands of abominations.
Oh.
Yes. His family may or may not cause the entire destruction of the material plane, and his blood's poison to bitter bloom flowers.
Oh.
I know, that's weird. Yeah.
It's so hard to kill those things.
Are they just going to go on like this all night?
I really hate it when he does this.
I know.
The Dragonborn is Rerek. He has the eyes of a seer. And
goes on.
The half-elf, the annoying one, he asked me if I was a familiar the first time I met him, so I know.
No.
Yes. Yes, darling.
Oh my.
I know. Don't worry. He'll get his own one day, sooner or later. Right now he's being useful. And back into common. Lark's gonna be like, boys, this, you met Rumor earlier, but this is full form, and this is our sister Prank.
Hi.
Lovely to meet you. I'm sure Lark has said a lot of terrible things about us.
Well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Perish the thought, darlings.
Exactly.
I speak nothing but the truth.
Yeah, we know. We've met.
Yeah.
See, I'm just gonna, I guess, like fly down with my brother and sister and kind of just start flitting around the guys and just be like, so rumor, well, who are you working for now?
Oh, I'm working with the Lord of Secrets.
Oh, I mean, that does fit your overall vibe, darling. You've always been particularly adept at finding them.
Yes.
That does sound fascinating. Are they still in common?
Yeah,
did
I
you
guess
switch
at
back
this
to
point, to
stolen?
be polite, we'll be talking in common a little bit.
Because, like, really? The whole time?
I mean, we
Just
could spend the entire
ditches.
time talking in Sylvan.
No, thank you. But yeah, no, that sounds fascinating. Secrets.
It can be. Sometimes you find things you don't want to know, but that's just part of the job.
Mm.
Secrets
there.
are secrets, and they must be kept by someone.
Prank, darling. Have you heard about our sister yet?
Oh, Panic? Yes.
Yes. Have you dreamwalked into her body yet?
No. That's not my thing. That's rumors.
Oh, then why am I doing it occasionally?
Oh. Weird.
It was a rather not pleasant experience.
From what I've
So
heard, I'm sure.
that's not like a normal thing then.
No.
Okay, good to know.
No, it's normal for rumor, not really for me.
Fabulous. More good news.
Oh well. What do we think about her, darlings?
I think she's going to get herself into quite a bit of trouble if nobody puts a leash on her. She seems to have very little control over herself.
Oh, yes. I mean, when I was in her head, it was just fear and anger and fear and anger, and the poor things have feral. Not half as elegant as us.
Yeah. I also heard she's pretty big. Like,
yes, she's like the
way bigger
size of
than
all
us.
three of us stacked together.
Oh, I wonder how that happened.
And she doesn't have our, like, note that all three siblings look like fraternal triplets and they all have the same orange wings. She doesn't even have our wings, but Granther showed me the bloom that she came out of, and it's from our corpse, well, our corpse daddy. Oh, Prank, did you hear our
Ew.
corpse daddy is a mortal king?
No, I didn't hear about that. I was wondering who was under our plant.
Yes, it's the first king of a mortal kingdom named Gothia. We're practically royalty. They should be worshipping us, honestly.
Oh.
Isn't that right, Percy?
Uh,
No. No, it's not.
no.
I'm
No.
just saying, we could have a mortal kingdom to have fun in, and then just come back. We vacation in the material plane when all this is said and over, and we come back here in the off seasons.
You cannot eat your subjects.
Yeah,
I
that's usually a rule.
I
Oh.
wouldn't eat that many of them.
No.
Only a few.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna make it through this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard anything else about Panic. I have heard that you've been having issues with a Sealy fairy.
Oh yes, the Bear King has a new pet by the name of Samantha who keeps attacking us. Honestly, it's like she didn't even appreciate my gift.
I know. They're
Yeah.
usually better sports about this.
I gave her immortality, and she just repays me by trying to kill me all the time.
I know. Oh, I visited Granther recently, and I did see that you sent cultists or something to him.
Yes, to be honest, Rumor, that's Rumor talking, right?
No, that's Prank.
Oh, that's
That was great, yeah.
Honestly, sister, I tried getting Oberon interested in them, but he wasn't having any of it, so I just asked Granther if he wanted a few fresh bodies.
Hmm.
How are they doing? Are they dead yet, or?
Um, yes and no. They managed to fend off a few of the red caps, but it made it very hard for them to do anything that Granther asked them to do. Um, so they're not exactly alive anymore, but they're not dead.
Oh.
He put bitter blooms in their heads, and now the red caps don't attack them anymore.
Well, that's
This
wonderful.
is a very unsettling conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, you wanted to just murder them all.
Well,
I guess that
kind of
happened.
seems more humane.
Well, who cares about being humane? We're not human.
And I'm sure they're happy. The flowers took root in their brain.
And the flowers feed off all their pain and suffering, so what's left when pain and suffering's gone?
Exactly.
Yep, so it's all just gravy and biscuits then.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I think I have things to go and do, so I'll have to leave you. But it was very nice catching up with you. We should do this more often.
I have a feeling we'll probably run into each other more throughout the night, darling.
Yay! Well, goodbye. And she just kind of floats away. And Rumor, yeah, I'm going to have to go as well. I have a few people I need to speak to. But don't worry, I'll try and find you.
And Rumor, darling, when it's pertinent for you, could you do your dear brother a favor and maybe let slip here and there some of the troubles facing the mortal plane?
Of course.
I mean,
That should be easy enough to do.
Yes, and I trust your sense of discretion.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will try my best. And at this point, he kind of transforms back into the shadow, into his shadow self before zipping into a shadow and just disappearing.
Oh my.
Aren't they
Does he do that a lot?
Well, I mean, more so than the prankerai.
Yes. It's unnerving. They are just delightful.
Yeah.
My word, have we? This seems like a very long. Are we still being led to the ballroom?
I would say at this point, the rabbit leads you through a doorway into a huge ballroom. It is gigantic. The center of the ballroom is a huge mosaic tile floor. It looks like it's made from various types of marble, of which there are various beings seeming to move back and forth. But as it goes out, it seems to transform into something else made to look like different places. There's a section that looks like a deep forest. There's a section that looks like a snow swept tundra. There's rocks and caves and trees and even a small, what looks like desert with cactuses in it around the edge, with a path that kind of weaves through it in this huge garden. And the dome above, the glass almost looks like it's not even there. It just looks like a night sky with stars floating. And there are tons of different beings, creatures, people, all walking around. And there is various music playing from various different groups all around that seem to be playing similar tunes to one another, but vaguely different. You also see vast tables covered in a variety of things. They have been separated. There are tables with more vegetables and fruits. There are tables with meats. There are tables with what looks like piles of rotten flesh and other strange things that I'm sure you wouldn't want to touch, all nicely divided out so that people can pick what they like without having to deal with it touching other things. And the rabbit just goes, well, you're here. We don't announce the guests, really. Goodbye. It just vanishes. Oh, you're muted.
I think that rabbit needs some chamomile or something.
I mean,
Lyrian.
I'm just, part of me is just wondering how long it is until he has a heart attack and dies and she has to replace him.
I love that that's your concern. Okay,
Yeah.
so Ball. Anybody want to try some rotten flesh or?
Is that Lark's just gonna look at this, maybe a crock of, or a giant cauldron? Is that goblin flesh stew?
Hard to tell,
Sounds divine.
but it's possible. So you all descend the stairs and begin mingling. One moment, let me count up stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't like when he counts.
If each of you would like to roll a d12, and I will join you in this.
Are we rolling for Rerek and Alex as well?
You know what? Sure. If one of you can roll one for each as well. No modifiers. This is for other reasons.
Okay. Arthur got a 2.
Lark got a 7 and Rerek
Alex.
Lark got a 7 and Rerek got a 1.
Okay. And then Percy and Alex got...
Percy and Alex got we both got 8s.
All right. All right. Doing some quick mental math there. As you are walking around, one of you, I'll let you pick which one, bumps into someone as it seems they were backing up from the table. You instantly feel a sting of cold, almost like you touched just raw ice. And you turn to look at this 9-foot-tall elven figure in completely white hair, white skin, pale, pale blue eyes with a crown made out of ice. And it seems on a plate he is holding, there is a single, what looks like some sort of pear, where the skin has, it's clearly been poached or boiled or something, and it has a little rime of what looks like sugar on it as he, oh, I'm very sorry.
Sorry, who is he talking to?
Just generally the group, as he just kind of bows. And you notice he is also surrounded by other elves that are shorter, that have a similar sort of appearance, except their skin is significantly more blue. But you notice the area around them, the floor is actually, the stone is cold. You can feel the cold of the stone through your shoes. The air around them has, the temperature's dropped. And it's almost like very lightly snowing around them.
It's all right. But our bad.
And he just kind of nods, and the group of them just walk away.
Oh, who was that one?
Well, they were kind of interesting.
Well, if you would like to, Lark, because this is a Fae, you can once again roll me either a history or arcana check.
That's a 9.
The best you can think of is that's probably the Prince of Frost. You don't know much about the Prince of Frost.
Frost Prince.
He was kind of cute.
Oh, now we know Arthur's type.
Ooh. I like him frigid.
Yes, darling, it would break off if you tried. Oh, wait, you're a virgin. You don't know how this works.
I genuinely have no response to that. I'm sorry, that was very unsettling imagery.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That kind of hurt me a little bit.
So as you continue kind of mingling around,
oh my god, is
I'm
there
gonna look
booze?
I'm gonna go to the flesh table and see if there's any faces on it.
I am definitely not going with him. 100% avoiding that.
All right. Yeah, so Lark, as you go to the table of flesh, it's not just flesh, it's meats of all different kinds, of which flesh is included. There also seem to be goblets and pitchers of what appear to be blood, possibly for the various undead creatures that are in fact here. You do not see any faces whatsoever. However, you do see a very large owl. It's a very mangy owl, completely black, wearing a crown, as its head is bobbing as it looks to various different meats.
Can I see if I know who this is off the top of my head?
Sure. Nature, history, or arcana.
That's a 3. That is a 3.
You swear this is some kind of familiar figure. You've heard of this person before, but you can't quite put your finger on who this is.
Okay, I'm just gonna be like, oh, I don't. Could you pass? Is that a decanter of virgin tears next to you?
And it kind of looks over. No, I don't believe so. That looks to just be blood.
Oh, can I have a little, please? Or pass it here, darling.
Ooh. And it reaches with this huge claw and picks up this tiny glass as it gives it to you.
I thank you. You have me at a loss. I'm new to the waltz, I suppose. You can call me Lark, and you are?
Well, you can call me Stolas.
Wait, do I recognize that name?
I would say give me another history arcana nature check.
That's a 17.
Now you remember who this is. Stolas is the Prince of Owls. He was a fae until he got in good with a being who you remember being known as Pazuzu, the wind demon. And he left the Feywild, taking his entire kingdom with him, and is now somewhere in the abyss, and is a demon lord.
Oh, pardon me, Lord Stolas. To presume to ask you to pass me a glass so casually. You have my apologies.
Oh, that's perfectly all right. I always like to be helpful.
How is it visiting the Feywild again for a time?
Well, things have changed quite a bit since I left, but, sometimes you miss the old home. But I did take the whole Twilight Forest with me, so it's fine.
Yeah, little slice of home and your newfound, or a little slice of the old land in your new land can't hurt, I suppose. I've been trying to do it on the material plane, but they don't seem to enjoy it very much.
No. It's very hard to move parts of the material plane around.
Yes, we may have accidentally seeded a meanlock war in there, and they're not really appreciative of it.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Now, darling, have you... I don't presume to know what's going in or on or around the abyss, but have you heard any of the rumors going on in the material plane?
No, I have not.
I'm gonna lean in conspiratorially close to him and just be like, does the name Theris Dune ring a bell?
No, not at all.
Yeah, okay. Particularly nasty aberration.
Well, we don't get much of those in the abyss.
Apparently, it's the one that ate the home world of the Lady of Fungus and the Slime Lord.
Oh, and he turns, and almost comical in the background is just a giant woman covered in mushrooms and a giant blob of slime just at one of the tables, standing around one of the tables. Oh, how terrible. I was wondering how they came here. They're so different than the others down there.
Yes. Now, my lady is, in her infinite wisdom, she set me to try to prevent him from doing as he would with... Well, I mean, surely you understand, Lord Stolas, if the mortal plane falls, our realms are going to be threatened sooner or later, if only for lack of food.
Yes. That would be very unfortunate.
I don't suppose I could get a pleasant introduction to those two from you at some point this evening?
I will see what I can do.
Why, thank you, my lord, and it's for the good of all of us, I suppose, because those uppity, seely fae and mortal saints aren't lifting a finger in these endeavors.
Yes. We still don't know where the gods went. Very interesting. They just up and vanished one day. Very strange. And the saints are very limited. They're not even gods at all.
That is fascinating, my lord.
Yes.
The saints are less powerful than you.
Well, they're about equal in power, I would say. I'm not a god either. They're powerful celestials in their own right, don't get me wrong, but they're not gods.
Now, a friend of mine would just love to hear this conversation sometime.
I'm sure.
Would you like to meet him?
Ooh, that would actually be very nice.
He's that uncomfortable looking human over there in the robes of their church.
Oh, it's very interesting. How did he end up here?
I mean, me?
Interesting. Well, yes, I would love to speak with him.
I'm gonna lead the owl devil demon lord over to the group.
Yeah, at this point, all of you watch as this giant owl, this giant mangy owl with a crown on its head is just following Lark across the dance floor towards you.
Lark's got a small wine glass full of blood in one hand that he's sipping from.
And what manner of friend have you made?
May I present Lord Stolas?
Yes. At your service, of course.
Current Abyssal Lord, formerly of the Feywild? Would that be a good summation, my lord?
Yes. The grantor of all knowledge of herbs and the stars.
It's
pretty specific.
Wonderful to meet you. Now,
Charmed.
how has Lark managed to take your ear? What sort of things has he been filling your head with?
Well, he was talking about the saints of the mortal plane.
Of course he was.
And he mentioned that
This
you
again?
were devoted to one of them. Or at least that's what I assume.
Yes, I am a priest of Saint Hypatia.
Patron saint of medicine, I believe.
Yes.
Interesting. Our domains cross a little bit. People come to me all the time for advice on herbs and medicinal plants of various types. And of course, I know them all. And I know exactly where to find every single one of them. So, of course, I make plenty of deals on that end. So, I am certainly willing to be of service. For a price, of course.
Of course.
Right. I'm sure you would be very helpful in that regard. I mean, I guess can Percy like talk shop with him there? Like, what can I like know some herb or something that's really rare or something that I would need to make a poultice?
If you'd like to make a nature check, you certainly can.
Oh, I'm not great at those. I have a +2. I rolled a 1.
So, garlic is actually a blood thinner. And that's what comes to your mind right at the moment.
I was like, garlic, right? For blood.
Lark's just like floating
yes,
behind.
Very good.
Lark's
yes,
just
very
floating
good,
behind
small mortal.
Stolas, and he snickers at Percy dropping the ball so badly. Like, oh my god, I introduced this eldritch being to you, and mortals. It looks like Arthur's dying over there.
Yeah, food looks good. What's over there? I'm just gonna walk away.
Here, Percy, here, have a sip of mine.
I won't. I can smell it from here.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
At this point, Stolas looks at you, Arthur, and he actually kind of cocks his head and almost does like the 180 thing where the owl just like goes like this, and then he kind of leans in. You seem familiar somehow.
I shall do it back.
And he just kind of looks at you.
I can't imagine where we would have met.
Arthur, your birth mother. Lord Stolas has knowledge of the stars.
Oh, right. I perhaps you may have heard of a creature I'm told could be my mother. Something about an ancient ageless woman who wore stars. That's the only imagery of her that I knew.
The Lady of Stars?
Presumably.
Interestingly, I only have a passing knowledge of her. She asked me for advice on druidic magic once, but I had my suspicions she had ulterior motives, so I didn't give it to her.
What was the nature of the magic she sought?
Something along the lines of the spirits of the forest. Not quite sure what exactly she was asking. She was being very vague. But that's all I know of her, sadly. She seems quite mysterious as a person.
No, I'm shocked I even ran into a creature that had heard of her. I appreciate it.
Interesting. Well, I've bothered you long enough.
Lord Stolas, would you be so kind as to possibly introduce us to what it? Remember that The little
Zugtmoy and what's his name?
Lex.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. If you'd like to follow me, I'm sure I can get a word in with them.
Oh, great.
They don't
Get
seem
to go
to be
meet
busy.
the slime creature.
Yes.
Fabulous.
And he begins to kind of do the owl walk over towards this gigantic woman covered in mushrooms. Her dress is made of mushrooms. Her bodice is made of mushrooms. Her skin looks like it is made out of mushrooms. And she has a giant mushroom cap as a head. And then there's just a big old ball of black slime that seems to be continually forming and reforming, tentacles and pseudopods coming out before morphing back into itself. As they seem to stand around the table of rotten food, as Zugtmoy very carefully picks up what appears to be a bone with still rotten flesh clinging to it, as you watch as mushrooms form, and she then just puts it down. And she turns very gracefully as Stolas comes up and goes, well, my lady, it seems we have some people interested in meeting your grace, as well as you, my lord Jubilex. I will let them introduce themselves. And he sweeps a wing towards the group of you, or at least everyone who's followed.
Good. Wait. Let me see here. Okay. Good evening and well met, Lady Zugtmoy and Lord Jubilex.
You watch as rising off of her are puffs of some sort of spore, glittering lights form in the air as the mushroom head ever so faintly glows, and you hear in your minds, it is lovely to meet you all.
Oh, wow.
Likewise, I'm just gonna look at Lark.
Are you enjoying your first time at the ball? The waltz.
And once again, still in your minds, you hear, yes, it is quite lovely. It is also lovely that the Lady of Nightmares has accommodated us so, she says, kind of gesturing to the table of food that you see Lord Jubilex is like halfway sludged over top of. And you watch as some little tendrils are going out over things, and they're bubbling and hissing, and there's like smoke coming up off of him.
Oh, my lady is nothing if not a gracious hostess.
Indeed.
So wonderful to see you enjoying yourself.
Have you enjoyed your time in the Feywild so far?
This is very interesting. The fungus is very different. It's hard to connect with it.
I mean, we are rather tricksy here, I suppose.
Interesting.
Yes, one species has picked up a particularly nasty habit of singing, regrettably.
Fascinating.
Well, I'm sure you all have a reason you wish to be introduced. It's not often that one wishes to see the Lady of Rot and the Lord of Slime.
Oh, I'm well. We are also newcomers to the waltz, but I suppose how do I put it? To cut to the chase and stay true to, because queens forbid I ever tell a lie. Have you ever heard the old mortal adage of the enemy of my enemy is a friend?
Yes, I have heard that.
Well, we seem to find ourselves pitted against an old enemy of yours, my lady.
Oh.
Percy, would you like to explain, or shall I?
We We are, well, to put it quite plainly, not just the mortal realm, but all realms are at risk at the moment of falling to Thera's doom.
At this point, you see Zugdmoy visibly kind of take back, and you see Jubilex. At first, the tentacles are swirling and writhing, very bendy and curvy before almost like ferrofluid just spikes. And you hear a different voice as you hear, "He has returned."
Yes, he has.
Somewhat. He's still what?
At the moment, he's unable to cross over, but there are quite a few agents of his on the mortal plane that are trying to change that.
I see. Well, if you've come to create an alliance against him, you certainly have two beings in your corner.
That's excellent to hear. We are definitely trying to find as many allies as we can. It's been sort of just us for a while, so any help you could provide would be appreciated.
Oh, Percy's under-exaggerating what my lady has done for the effort as well, other than, lending my magnificent form to the efforts.
Mm-hmm.
The Court of Nightmares has been doing its best to resolve the situation, but it's funny to me how we've informed the mortals and the closest to their saints, and they're not hardly lifting a finger. And
the church will act in due time, Lark.
Don't get me started on the Sealy courts either. Really, they're utter bores. And, ugh.
Well,
Lark's just going to look around and be like, is there a bear here? He wouldn't be here.
No, he
Lark's
definitely would
political
not be here.
misgivings aside.
Well, we certainly have quite a few footholds in the material plane if you need to call upon us.
Excellent. I don't know that we have any specific needs at the moment, but it is likely in the future we will request assistance.
Very well.
What he said.
Very well. When the time arises and you call upon us, we will certainly respond.
We appreciate that.
Gratitude.
Yes. Well, I'm sure you have mingling to get back to.
Right.
Oh yes, so many new faces to meet.
Yeah.
And some things without faces.
Have you seen any faces on the table, by the way?
Oh my god, okay.
I have not.
I mean, I knew I should have skinned that fallen angel's face before I gave the head to the queen, but
For the love of...
one doesn't skim off the top of an offering.
No, one does not.
I suppose
you're so well-mannered.
Lark's just gonna pluck a flower from a display vase and start eating that instead. This'll do.
Okay. Yeah, I still haven't found any booze. So, fabulous meeting you. Milady.
And she nods. Well, have a good rest of your evening.
Enjoy your flesh.
And at this point, erupting in the air above you is a swirling cloud of darkness. And in a variety of languages, you hear in your minds, the dance of Shadows will begin in about 5 minutes.
Oh.
And the cloud vanishes.
Okay. Well,
is that our cue,
Percy?
boys?
I think it might be. Hope you boys know how to dance.
I think if it's this particular kind of dance, we know how to do it rather well at this point.
This
Fair.
is not the bout.
Oh,
It's not the dance, it's
No,
a bout.
I meant
Actual dancing.
dance. Yeah.
Yeah. Actual dancing.
Mhm.
Oh, Lark's like, of course I know how to dance. Don't you
Well, I
know how to
don't know.
dance?
You just like float around all the time.
Yes, it's a fairy dance, darling. How else do you lure mortals away from their loved ones? Other than Lark just starts gyrating in the air sensually.
Oh God. Okay.
Can I roll a
That's-
performance check?
Sure.
I'm not actually proficient in it. So I only add my... Oh, that's only an 8. Gross. 3 plus 5 is 8.
You notice
Terrible.
as you start
Terrible.
gyrating that you start like floating more towards your side before you just like quickly right yourself.
Oh, I'm a little out of practice. What can I say?
Yeah, building up lots of confidence there, Lark. My
And
word.
it seems that you see people begin to, various creatures and lords begin to mingle with one another and seem to be jumping from group to group as if they are attempting to find some kind of a dance partner. Would any of
Oh,
you
shit.
like to do this?
Oh, no.
Yes. I feel
I
like
mean,
we
you
should.
can't like dance by yourself, can you?
I mean, technically you can, but it seems like
It's like-
everybody wants to do, you know, a two-person dance.
It's a waltz, Percy. You need a partner.
Okay, do I see anyone who looks not like a terrifying nightmare creature?
No.
Cool.
There are definitely humanoids. There are humanoids,
Yeah.
but they're all like twisted hags and trolls and goblins and you know
All right.
things like that.
Can I just like make a general insight check on the crowd or something to see like who gives me the best I won't murder you vibes?
Sure. I'll also roll something.
I mean, I'll settle for anything plantigrade at this point. Like,
I'll perception check for anything in the air that I could dance with. Because we're gonna dance sky dancing.
is that what
I
we're doing?
get
Is a perception thing?
If you'd like.
Okay.
I get a 23 for
Oh.
insight.
With that, it seems the least nightmarish creature you lay your eyes on within about 5 seconds is Camazotz, awkwardly kind of walking around.
I'll dance with the camera. I'll approach him and say, my lord, could I have this dance?
Oh, yes, most certainly.
Damn it.
And then we'll move over to Arthur. What's Arthur doing?
He got the friendly one. I don't know. Can I just look for something that's humanoid-ish that doesn't have lots of sharp teeth?
Sure. You do see there's definitely people in the entourage of the Frost Prince that are milling around that don't seem to be getting a partner.
I don't know if I want to touch them. That seems like it would be really uncomfortable. Nope, next. No, I can't do it.
I mean, there's goblins, there's witches, there's vampires.
Oh, yep. Let's go undead. At least I can kill it if I need to. We'll go with the vampire.
Yeah, you awkwardly approach let's just say a sort of dark hair, very short, kind of a little spiked, kind of around your size and build, male vampire who seems to be standing off to the side, back against one of the tables, kind of just looking as you approach.
Gestures awkwardly.
Well, couldn't be any worse. And
Great.
and he does lead you onto the dance floor. There are a few various flying things. There are various other flying pixies and flying fae. You do notice there are also fairies that seem to be part of the Frost Prince's entourage that seem to be almost ice pixies or ice sprites that are flying through the air, as well as what you believe to be the sort of entourage of Pazuzu, the wind demon. They do smell a little, and they have green clouds coming off of them, but they have bat wings, and they're vaguely humanoid with horns and sort of greenish and purplish colored skin, kind of flying in the air.
So who's like the hottest person in the sky other than me?
Oh my god.
Probably several of the pixies and sprites that are part of various courts within the sort of darker fae realms that have kind of mixed together.
Okay, I guess I'll dance with a frost pixie.
All right. Yes, you take you end up kind of locking eyes with one of the frost fairies as they fly over and just offer you a hand.
Don't snap it off, Lark.
And if the three of you would like to make a performance check, you may. However, Percy, you're going to do so at disadvantage.
Why am I at disadvantage?
You'll see.
Oh, cool.
Son of a whore. I was hoping I could like get through this with like acrobatics or some shit.
Okay, I did okay.
You know what? I'll give you acrobatics if you so desire.
Hell yeah.
I got a 12.
All
18.
right. All right.
I only got an 11 because I'm not proficient in performance.
It is a little bit awkward as the music starts. Percy, Camazot's being so large and also being apparently very excitable. You end up half the dance in the air as he's
swinging me around.
As he's basically swinging you around. It's very hard to dance very nicely with this giant bat person just like swinging you back and forth in circles as he's very excitable going, ha, this is fun. Just kind of swinging you around.
Percy's desperately trying to do like the two little dance moves he knows from the one time his mom made him take dance lessons, or his dad probably.
It's like 1, 2. Oh, my feet aren't on the floor anymore. Oh, my feet aren't on the floor anymore. Yeah. Lark, it is a bit awkward as you're kind of dancing in the air. As it seems, this frost pixie has a very different style of dance. It's more sort of ballet oriented as they sort of spin on their tiptoes and spray out snowflakes. It's kind of hard to kind of keep up with them. But
Lark's just like, this is a waltz. You dance together. It's not a solo show, you buffoon.
Oh my.
However, Arthur, you do seem to have a very pleasant experience with the very simplistic sort of waltz with this handsome vampire boy. As you waltz, and as the music ends, he kind of bows and just says, "Thank you, that was better than sitting against the wall."
Yeah, fair enough.
And
Enjoy
then he
your
turns
evening.
and just walks off.
Now 2 of our party members have vampire lovers.
Ew, no.
Of course,
It was
Lark,
the safest option.
You're just left flying in the air as your friend, your ice pixie friend, just spirals off into the distance, just like, okay. And
I'm
yeah,
gonna let him
Percy,
go.
you get set down and your head is instantly spinning and you're wobbling as Camazotz is just like, haha, that was fun. Hopefully we can do that later. Again, this is a waltz after all. We're doing multiple of them, right? As you're just trying to keep your balance.
Yeah.
If you want to make a constitution check to see if you can manage to stay upright, you certainly can.
Sure.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea.
Just constitution check or saving throw or what?
Just a constitution check.
Cool. That's gonna be a 19.
Oh, so despite your head spinning and you being absolutely dizzy and for a moment not knowing which way is up or down, you do manage to stay upright, even if your feet are slightly wider than shoulder length apart to keep yourself upright, but you do manage.
Thank you, Lord Kemsai. This was a wonderful, wonderful dance. I'm
This
gonna go
was
sit
very
down really quick.
fun. And as the waltz of shadow, as the shadow waltz comes to a close, there is an announcement made once again with the storm cloud appearing over and in a variety of languages. The bout of champions will begin in 2 hours.
Percy seems like, oh, I thought he was gonna say 2 minutes. I'm not in the right place for that right now.
Yeah. I'm not nearly drunk enough.
You shouldn't get... Lark's just gonna float back down and be like, you probably shouldn't drink before a fight.
Have you met me yet?
Fair.
I mean, if I don't find something to drink here, I'm just going to use the whiskey because, like, I'm having a hard time figuring out if the wine has blood in it.
Fair point.
We have encountered a lot of blood wine, so
I'm just
I
looking
would
for
not be
tears.
surprised.
Have you 2 seen tears? Lord Camazotz, have you seen tears anywhere?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I
how
will check the other
disappointing.
tables. I've been at that one, and he points to the one that has a lot of meat on it for obvious reasons. I have dabbled over there, and he points to the table with fruit. But only a little.
Okay. So you want to find you some orphan tears or what?
Oh, I didn't even think about orphan tears. Arthur, you're such a good friend sometimes.
I was making a... Okay. You know what? Never mind.
Admittedly, I don't think if you started crying it would count, because you have a birth mother now, so you're not really an orphan anymore.
God damn, Lark.
Woof.
What the fuck? Uncalled for.
Have you met me, darling?
Touche.
And at this point...
Now let's find me some booze.
At this point would be a good time to end the episode. So come back next week to see who the group is fighting in this bout that they are going to have and how exactly the waltz is going to end. So I will see you all in about a week, and I will see the rest of you in about 5 minutes.